Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Question. Real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Whether you're firing up the grill at a local bistro or uploading your next viral video, there is one thing every business owner has in common. You can't afford to be offline. If you are connected, you are making sales, talking to clients, or managing your team. That is where Spectrum Business comes in. They keep businesses of all sizes connected seamlessly with fast, reliable internet, advanced Wi-Fi, phone, TV, and mobile services. You need technology that adapts as fast as you do without breaking your budget. What really sets Spectrum Business apart is their commitment to being there when it counts. They offer 100% US-based customer support, available 24/7. They're ready to help you stay up and running. It's no wonder millions of business owners rely on Spectrum every single day to power their dreams. Get the reliability your hard work deserves. Visit spectrum.com/business to learn more and find a package built specifically for your business needs. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas. Visit spectrum.com/business for details.
No squirrels.
This is what Dax told me as I was filling up my coffee cup. The last thing my headache needed right now was Dax telling me something that didn't make any sense, such as,
no squirrels.
Dax had joined the Granbury maintenance crew at the beginning of the summer. The hottest summer on record, according to my wife, my mother, and my neighbor, Fred. Dax was a good kid who had a tendency to speak at length about conspiracy theories, which could be entertaining from time to time. This was not one of those times. My headache deserved a break from Dax. The Granbury Parks and Recreation Department manages 77 properties totaling 450 acres in the whole town. For the past 2 weeks, we've been cleaning up Arc 2. It's a wildlife sanctuary along the tail of Lake Granbury and the Brazos River corridor. It consists of oak juniper woodlands and savanna grasslands, plus about 1.8 miles of forest along the lake/river. I'm pretending not to hear Dax as I take off my hazmat suit, knowing full well in approximately 5 seconds he's just going to repeat himself until I respond.
Not one squirrel all day.
Just when I thought my workday had ended, I now have to engage Dax in squirrel chat. The more I heard the word squirrel, the weirder the word became. Within the span of 30 seconds, he had taken a seemingly normal word and somehow stretched it like a 3D painting. The word no longer made sense. I needed to go home and take a long, cold shower. Instead, I got,
For the past 2 weeks, how many squirrels have we seen every day? A ton, right? And then today, not a one. That's odd, no?
I told him they probably got spooked by our equipment.
We've been using the same equipment all week. You'd always see 'em here and there. Anytime I'd shut off my clipper, I'd see 'em zigging and zagging all over the place. I fed almonds to a couple of 'em. I just think it's weird to go from a ton to none, right?
I told him that was odd, even though it wasn't. Our equipment was loud. They most certainly did get scared and stay hidden. I didn't tell him that part. I was just trying to get out of this conversation as quickly as possible. What I did tell him was not to feed the squirrels.
You should have seen the striped squirrel. He's probably their leader. Every animal kingdom has a hierarchy, even squirrels. Isn't it weird that you never see dogs actually catch squirrels? You see them chasing squirrels all the time, but you never actually see them catch one. Now that's odd, no?
All right, I'm tapped out. I told Dax good work today and then bid him a farewell. The week was over and my back was barking. I hopped into my truck and took the 22-minute, with no traffic, drive back home for some much-needed R&R. While leaving, I could see Dax in my rearview mirror walking back from our shed into the woods. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. My wife was elbowing my lower back in an attempt to get rid of some kind of knot that had formed over the past 2 weeks. Ailments were not uncommon in my line of work, which upset my wife, even though we both knew that my job, considering the current state of the economy, was pretty good. Consistent pay, benefits, exercise.
What if you got a security job? Similar pay, benefits, but less stress on your body.
I told her I'd look into it, which was mostly a lie. The truth is, I liked my job because it kept me outside. I was never one of those people who could work in an office staring at the clock. That's torture. I'd take a bad back any day of the week over sitting in some cubicle.
You wouldn't be in a cubicle. You might be in a tiny box taking tickets as rich people drive up to get inside, but at least you'd be able to rest.
As much as I appreciated my wife looking out for me, I said that sounded like an old man job. While my x-ray may say otherwise, I was not yet an old man. So let's both enjoy the sculpted from marble experience known as my body while we're both young. She nearly spit out her water while we both sat on the beach towel in Granbury City Beach Park. Yes, I can take some credit for how nice this beach looks currently. Me and the crew had been working on it throughout all of April and halfway into May, getting it ready for the summer. The mayor, Mayor Braun, was a real stickler for the beach. Our tiny town was not exactly a tourist trap, so he was very strict about having city employees make sure that the beach and the parks were top-notch when the clock struck summer. I've never met the man, although I've heard that his smile is not exactly authentic.
It can't hurt to look for other jobs.
Our dog, Luigi, was extra chill today. Normally, he might want to go for a walk. Today, nothing. I agreed with my wife about looking for other jobs and then asked if she wanted to hear the most recent Dax story. Without missing a beat, she said yes. My wife loved hearing about Dax because he never failed to give me a great conversational anecdote. I told her everything I could. Normally, my wife would be laughing and asking follow-up questions. Today, she said nothing. Her response was not at all what I was expecting.
That's so funny you said that. Or Dax, I guess. It's so funny that he said that.
I asked my wife why that was funny, assuming this would lead to a joke, which it did not.
At the teacher picnic last week, we were playing horseshoes, having lunch. Mr. Giberson, the science teacher, he kept sort of coming in and out of the picnic, walking along the field up towards the woods, and after a while, I asked him if he was okay. You know what he told me?
What? I asked, intrigued.
Mr. Giberson said that there wasn't one squirrel in the whole park. Isn't that odd?
The weekend flew by, as it always did in the summer. Especially this one, with temperatures hitting upwards of 100 degrees. I loved being outside. It's the reason I keep telling my wife I don't really want to switch jobs. But today, as with every day for almost the past month, it can get rough. As soon as I pulled up outside the shed, I saw Dax jogging up to my window, tell me to roll it down, rather than wait the 2 seconds for me to get out of the car. I asked him what was up.
Still no squirrels.
I took a deep breath. My wife told me to take deep breaths anytime Dax was being annoying, or anytime anyone was being annoying. My ticker was not exactly in pristine condition, so her advice was sage to say the least. I took about 5 deep breaths during the 2 seconds it took me to get out of my truck. He told me in painstaking detail about what he had seen, or not seen.
I came back yesterday, bag full of peanuts. I ran out of almonds. You know how much water it takes to make one almond? Real bad for the environment.
I told him I did, and to get back to the squirrel thing, a sentence I had hoped to never repeat.
So I'm walking through Arc 2. I start on the perimeter and I start going in more and more. I'm tossing peanut shells every 5 feet. Not one, Cap. Not one squirrel. Isn't that odd?
Dax called me Cat, which my wife found adorable and I found halfway condescending. But at least he showed respect. He kept going. He always kept going.
Squirrels don't just disappear. Summer is their time to shine, Cap. And what kind of squirrel would pass up a peanut? That's unheard of, Cap. I never heard of it. You ever heard of it?
I told him he shouldn't come here alone on weekends. It's the summer. It's his time to shine too. I thought that might jar him back into reality. Instead, he started rattling off squirrel facts.
They plant trees. They help maintain forest diversity. They improve soil health. They contribute to fungal dispersal. Look, they're a key food source in the animal web. Without squirrels, we'd have way less trees. And we need trees, Cap, for, the oxygen and whatever.
I sort of sarcastically thanked him for the tree tip and said we better get suited up. I also told him to take a lot of water breaks today. It's going to be a scorcher. He didn't hear me. When Dax was in the midst of a conspiracy kick, all he could hear was the sound of his own voice.
People don't know how important squirrels are, Cap. We gotta tell someone. Maybe the mayor.
I can't believe I'm thinking this. It's hard to even contemplate the thought. But I couldn't shake it. All day long, as we moved through Arc 2, cleaning it up, I kept one eye out for squirrels. Just so I could know that Dax was wrong, that this was just another weird conspiracy theory. Another great story to tell my wife later on that we could both laugh about. Well, guess what? For the entire week, working outside, zigzagging in and out of the woods, not one squirrel. Not one. Dax was right. Something was off.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single do-or-die Game 7? A full week of a heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more. Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Shanley had squirrels. Shanley Park. It's where I used to always walk my dog Luigi before we moved across town. Luigi would chase and never catch squirrels, constantly. You couldn't walk more than 10 feet without seeing at least one of them running around somewhere. It's got a nice mix of sunlit paths and shade with plenty of tree cover. An ideal habitat for squirrels, I thought. I had already memorized a bunch of useless squirrel facts thanks to Dax, who had been rambling all week about them, and only them. I got to Shanley Park around 5 p.m. It wasn't going to be dark until 8. Not 1 inch of that place didn't feel my footprint for those 3 hours. And for the entire time, not one squirrel.
Squirrel box.
I told my wife I had no idea. She said that tomorrow she was going to go to the library and look up reasons for why a dense, healthy, wooded area such as Cranberry would have no squirrels. I told her please do not waste a summer day chasing squirrel theories. She told me it was too late. This was too odd and too random to not become temporarily obsessed with. My wife loved any excuse to deep dive into something unusual. It's one of her kicks. Normally, I would fully support her kick. Most of my interesting anecdotes were from her. But I only had myself to blame on this one. I told her, not even realizing she would absolutely have to figure out what was happening because that's the way her brain works. She has to figure out a solution to a problem, or at least the problem with figuring out a solution. I had neither, so I was open to whatever she told me. My night ended the same way most of my nights ended. Me walking Luigi around the block before bedtime. He was almost 7, so it had been a while since he needed a leash. The only time that mattered was when he saw... I can't say the word. If I say the word one more time, I might combust. I need sleep. It's a good story, I'll admit it, but I'm going to drive myself nuts. See? I'm going to drive myself nuts thinking about this. Squirrel food. Squirrels. Good Lord, I need to get some sleep before I turn into John Stuckey, one of Granbury's more peculiar fellows. John Stuckey is the conspiracy king. He makes Dax look like a novice. He'll chew both your ears off and then drill into your skull before his first UFO theory is done. He basically lives at the library. Anytime you walk in there, he'd be at one of the 7 computers looking up God knows what on the internet. Today, he's speaking to me and Dax during our lunch break on a bench in Hewlett Park, another place in Granbury that has 0 squirrels. John Stuckey is tall, lanky, and wearing sunglasses. He looks like if Lurch had a little brother who wore cheap fedoras.
Squirrel box.
Dax turned from John Stuckey and started nodding at me, as if everything John Stuckey said was biblical, not to be questioned. Not that I had alternative solutions. All I could do was ask, "What?" Stuckey lowered his sunglasses just a tad to give us an in-depth breakdown of his theory.
SQPV, classic squirrel pox, is most notorious for its impact on the native red squirrels in the UK and Europe, where the non-native gray squirrels act as carriers. In Europe, outbreaks have caused rapid, local extinctions of red squirrels.
He kept going. I was trying to pay attention, but all I could think about was how the name Stuckey kind of sounded like the term squirrely. Which he was. Stuckey was totally squirrely.
In the US, the ecology is different. The virus is present, but large-scale population crashes have not been documented in the same way. Many US cases appear to be isolated or regionally limited, rather than affecting whole populations. The closest thing to a significant US outbreak is the Florida fibromatosis event circa 1998 in gray squirrels, but even that is not nearly on the scale of the red squirrel crashes seen overseas.
Dax interjected to tell me,
I told you, Cap. I told you. Something crazy is going on in Granbury. Right under our noses. Or above our noses, since they're usually in the trees.
I needed more from Stuckey. Nothing he told me had actually meant anything. So I asked him, just to be clear, what exactly do you think happened to all the squirrels? Stuckey looked around as if he was worried someone was following him. Then he leaned in, his breath smelling like peanuts. His answer was only 2 words.
The skies.
The maintenance crew was waiting for us. This wasn't unusual. They normally waited for me to specify who should go where after lunch. But I could tell from the look on their faces that they were worried about something. Oscar, who had been with me the longest, walked up to my truck while wiping his forehead.
The mayor's office called.
Dax's eyes nearly exploded out the top of his skull. He turned to me, bursting with excitement.
The mayor? Oh, Cap, I told you. I gotta go with you. I gotta, for evidence. No, not evidence, for what's it called? Testimony. You're gonna need me there to, you walk them through it, right? Maybe set up a task force or something, right?
I told Dax to take it easy, and then I asked Oscar what the mayor's office said. He told me.
The mayor's assistant wants to speak with you about...
Dax cut him off.
The squirrels, right? He wants to talk about the squirrels?
Oscar took another little beat. He seemed nervous, almost as nervous as I was. The mayor's office had never wanted to speak with me before. Why me? I asked Oscar.
His office wants to know what happened to the birds.
This was the nicest office I had ever been in. There was about 25 of us sitting around a large conference table with huge windows. The air conditioning was sublime. I recognized a bunch of the other personnel nearby. Internal Services Director, Parks and Rec Superintendent, Rec Coordinator, all the bigwigs for people who work in parks around town. Plus, there were the administrative assistants for each department. I was the only one who didn't have an administrative assistant. I had Dax.
We're totally on the task force.
Dax's breath also smelled like peanuts. Mayor Braun walked in wearing a sharp light blue suit that matched the sky. His pearly white teeth could be used as a lighthouse. He was followed in by multiple women, all between the ages of 25 and 30. He clapped 3 times and then finger-gunned the room.
First off, let me say that what you did with Beach Prep this year was nothing short of magnificent. I could eat spaghetti off every grain of sand on Granbury City Beach Park, and that is a testament to the hard work of everyone in this room. So let's start by giving yourselves a round of applause. Huh? You deserve it.
At first, we all just looked at each other, unsure of whether to clap. Eventually, Pam Adams, the rec coordinator, she started to clap. So we all started clapping out of sync for about 5 seconds until the mayor told us to settle down, and then he launched into the rest of his speech.
Now, when it comes to the birds, I'm more than a little alarmed. My lovely assistant right there, Jenna, is quite the bird aficionado. You should see the birdhouse she built for my summer home. The color is a vibrant turquoise that will make your loins sing. The things Jenna can do with her hands, it's nothing short of magnificent.
Dax nudged me to look down towards the mayor's feet. The mayor had alligator boots that gave him an extra 3 inches and made him seem more presidential. I couldn't stop staring at them, even as he started talking again about the birds.
I spoke to some of the folks down at the university. They were at a loss. And as you folks know, I do not lose. I win. Granbury is built for winners. I need you to put all your heads together and tell me what happened to the birds. We are not leaving until we have a solution. Unfortunately, I have a fundraiser to attend, so I won't be able to stay for the bird pow pow. But I have faith in you because you are Granbury. Let's find those birds, people.
Right as he began to walk out and wave, Dax did something nobody else did. He spoke up.
And the squirrels.
The mayor stopped and turned, unsure of who or what was said, so he asked,
Come again?
Dax said it for a second time.
The squirrels, Mr. Mayor. The squirrels are gone too.
The mayor paused, smiled his pearly whites, and then walked right on out the door. It was now on the people in this room to figure out what the heck was happening in our town. My wife was passed out, surrounded by books. The first one had a cover with, you guessed it, a squirrel. I was tempted to wake her up to hear the new theories she might have, but I had to let her sleep. It was almost midnight. The meeting of the park's minds had gone nowhere, and the mayor was expecting answers. The one thing we all agreed on was that a geology team was much more suited to figure out how something like this could have happened. Except for Dax. Dax wanted a task force. The entire ride home, he couldn't stop talking about this task force. And if we'd get to carry tasers. I'd be lying if the whole situation wasn't kind of exciting. As much as I loved my quiet little life, I can't say it was brimming with excitement. Now I was in the middle of a little mystery. A mystery that had, up until now, been pretty harmless. I'm sure we need squirrels, and even more sure we need birds. But the puzzle felt kind of communal. While walking around my house, I noticed something that made me nervous. More than nervous. It made me scared. Scared in a way I can't ever remember feeling before. Scared in a way that made me feel helpless. Scared that something was happening in my town. Something much bigger than myself and everyone else in Granbury. It wasn't until I covered every inch of my house in our backyard that it hit me, and all of a sudden I became trapped in terror. My dog was gone.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single do-or-die Game 7? A full week of a heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7 day passes. Watch The Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more. Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?